Welcome to TV Africa News. Hope you had a beautiful day. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Kajir, but first are the headlines. Education Ministry says 59% of teachers have been vaccinated. New opposition pressure group names Besigye chairman, Lukwago deputy. A new PM promises to fulfill his new role with honor and dignity. And in our sports today, Uganda Cranes edge Rwanda in Kigali. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. Now, the government's plan is to immunize all teaching and non-teaching staff and 330,000 students aged 18 years and above before reopening schools. Now, the Ministry of Education and Sports say that 59% of teachers in the country had got one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, showing their commitment to resume business. We have more on this report. According to the ministry's statement on Wednesday, as of October 4th, 323,072 teachers out of the targeted 550,000 had got the first jab, whereas 20% are fully vaccinated. The government's plan is to immunize all teaching and non-teaching staff and 330,000 students aged 18 years and above before reopening schools. President Museveni has said post-secondary institutions of learning will reopen on November 1st, while the rest of the learning institutions will resume in January 2022 if the above targets are met. Uganda has so far acquired over 5.4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines, and a little over 2.2 million have been used. In his September 22nd address, the president said the country was set to receive over 11.9 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines by the end of November. Uganda's strategy is to vaccinate 22 million people, translating to 49.8% of the population. The first phase will cover people with comorbidities that are 18 years and above, elderly aged 50 and above, health workers, teachers, and security personnel. In the second phase, anyone 18 years and above will be immunized, and in the third phase, children below 18 will be immunized. Thank you so much, our reporter. Moving on in our top stories, a section of opposition politicians have launched a new pressure group, People's Front for Transition, and named full-time presidential contender Dr. Kizza Besigye their leader. We have more on this report.
Dr. Besigye said in his speech that if you miss on building knowledge for 15 million people, you have missed out on 30 million years of development. He added that Uganda is the only country in Africa at the moment with schools closed, meaning it is the only country in the whole world because it represents Africa. Dr. Besigye will be deputized by Kampala Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago and former Forum for Democratic Change presidential candidate Patrick Oboy Amriat, among others. Other members include former Member of Parliament aspirants Mr. Mike Mabiki, Mr. Lukwago Mukaku, and Mr. Ken Chams. The launch of the front took place at the JEMA headquarters in Kampala. JEMA President Mr. Asuman Basalirwa did not attend the launch, which happened at his party head offices in Mengo, Kampala. Councillor Peter Walubiri, who represented the Uganda People's Congress Party, which he leads, said that the struggle to remove the dictator was discovered as early as 1986 and have been trying to bring everyone on board.
Moving on, Uganda will on the 16th of October 2021 join the rest of the world to celebrate the World Food Day under the theme, Our Actions, Our Future, Better Production, Better Nutrition, a Better Environment and a Better Life, aimed at promoting worldwide awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger and the need to ensure food security, better production and better nutritious diets for all. Our reporter has more.
Addressing the media today at the Uganda Media Center in Kampala, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization country representative, Mr. Antonio Guerrido, said that World Food Day 2021 is being marked the second time during the COVID-19 pandemic from the disruption of agri-food systems and global economic recessions to increase in food security and equality. The pandemic has exposed the fragility of our societies, but has also shown how people can come together for a common goal. This year's action-oriented campaign focuses on raising awareness of the need to support the transformation to more efficient, inclusive, resilient, and sustainable agri-food systems for better production, better nutrition, better environment, and a better life, leaving no one behind. This year's celebration, the Food and Agriculture Organization will join the government of Uganda and other stakeholders in a televised national invite-only celebrations at the National Agricultural Research Laboratories in Kaunda in a strict observance of the standard operating procedures.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. In our international news today, Morocco's King Mohammed on Thursday named a new government led by Aziz, a billionaire tycoon close to the palace who will face pressing economic problems exacerbated by the coronavirus pandemic. We have more on this report.
The 24-member cabinet formed after Akanuchi's National Rally of Independence trounced incumbent Islamists in the elections last month includes 7 women, up from 4 in the previous administration. It is largely made up of technocrats, with veteran diplomat Nasser Bourita keeping his role as foreign minister, in a context of regional tensions, especially with neighboring Algeria. The monarch led a ceremony at the royal palace in Fez, appointing the members of the new government, according to the statement released by the official MAP news agency. The list of ministers include members of the Liberal RNI and the election runner, the Authenticity and Modern Party, both considered close to the palace, and the centre-right Istiqlal Party, which fought colonial rule. The RNI won 102 of Parliament's 395 seats in the September 8 polls, sweeping away the moderate Islamist Justice and Development Party, which had headed the governing coalition for a decade but took just 13 seats.
Moving on in the international news today, Guinea's new transitional Prime Minister Mohamed has vowed to carry out his new role with honor and dignity. The new leader of the executive was appointed by President Mamadou Doumbouya, who seized power in September. Mohamed Bavague, the new transitional PM in Guinea, promised that the important thing once again is to build the foundations for change, the justice system, the administration that is needed so that, on the one hand, the political part takes place in the best conditions and that the best candidate wins in the elections at the end. The new Prime Minister has had a prestigious career in international organizations and is an expert in agriculture development, finance and risk management. President Mamadi Doumbouya led the coup to overthrow former President Alpha Conde, still held at undisclosed location. On the 1st of October, Doumbouya was sworn in by the Supreme Court. Moving on, Desmond Tutu, South Africa's anti-apartheid icon, Nobel Peace Laureate, and a man dubbed the moral compass of the nation, marked his 90th birthday Thursday with a rare public appearance. We have more on this report.
The jovial Tutu, who has long spoken out against injustice, attended a special Thanksgiving service at St. George's Cathedral in Cape Town, where he was appointed South Africa's first black Anglican Archbishop. The service opened with a rendition of Happy Birthday. Alan Boesak, a fellow anti-apartheid activist and clergyman who led the service, said that this was a great day on which they were with him despite all the many challenges over the years. During the hour-long low-key service, Boesak said Tutu had repeatedly told the apartheid administration it was evil and warned it would very soon bite the dust ignominiously. Tributes and well wishes for the revered anti-apartheid icon have poured in from presidents, individuals, and organizations from around the globe. President Cyril Ramaphosa lauded Tutu as a fighter in the cause for human rights, for equal and for social justice throughout the 59 years since his ordination. He paid tribute to the Arch, as Tutu is fondly called in South Africa, for a life that has been well lived in honesty, integrity, fearlessness and service to humanity.
Well, thank you so much, reporter. Moving on, Burkina Faso's former president Blaise Compaoré, the main accused in a long-awaited trial on the 1987 assassination of his predecessor, Thomas Sankara, will boycott the upcoming proceedings, according to his lawyers. We have more on this report. In the trial opening on Monday, Compaoré and 13 others face an array of changes in the death of Sankara, a charismatic revolutionary whom followers describe as African Che Guevara. Sankara took power in the impoverished Sahel state in 1983, remaining the country the following year from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, which means land of the honest men. He carried out a string of radical policies, including nationalizations, public housing, and a ban on female genital mutilation, polygamy, and forced marriages. But he was shot dead in October 15, 1987, aged just 37, during a putsch led by Compaoré, a former friend. Compaoré was himself ousted in 2014 by a popular uprising after 27 years in power and fled to Ivory Coast, where he was obtained Ivorian nationality. Compaoré, who is 70 years, has always denied accusations that he ordered Sankara's killing. After his fall from power, an investigation into assassination was opened in 2015 under a transitional government, and a warrant for his arrest was issued the following year. Those accused including Compaoré's former right-hand man, General Gilbert, a former head of the elite presidential security regiment. The pair face charges of complicity in murder, harming state security, and complicity in concealment of corpses. Thank you so much, Harry Potter. We take a quick break. We shall come back with business. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa The Right. Now let's turn your attention to our business news today. Following intelligence reports on threats of terrorists attacks in Niamey, the capital of Niger, and its surroundings, the regional authorities decided on October 1st, 2021 to close 3 sites of tourist attractions, relaxation, and leisure. Now, among the sites is that of a Heket Desert Safari Camp, a site located on sand dunes a few miles from the Niger River on the right bank. We have more on this report.
The camp welcomes every weekend between Friday and Sunday at least 500 people day and night, with the direct employment of 50 people and more than 100 indirectly. Both these employees, their families, and the promoter have now been hit hard without being prepared in advance. Kanazi Resort, which is popular with expatriate workers, is found on the banks of the Niger River, has also been told to close. Workers like Seydou at the site have protested the directive to close as draconian, saying authorities should instead increase security to protect leisure seekers. Last August, 8 people on a tourist excursion were killed in a suspected militant ambush in Niger's southwest. 6 French aid workers were among the victims. The owners of the leisure parks have vowed to challenge the governor's order in court. They intend to contest the decision of the governor of Niamey in court because, despite the particularity of these sites and their proximity to Niamey, they fall under the region of Tillabéri, located west of the capital.
Away from business, in our health news today, Uganda has received 196,800 doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this is the first batch of the 9 million doses of the single-shot vaccine procured by the government. Now, the vaccines were delivered abroad Brussels Airlines, which touched down at Entebbe International Airport on Thursday night. The Health Ministry Permanent Secretary Dr. Diana Atwine said that another batch of 1.2 million doses on the same vaccine will arrive in the country by the end of next month. She says that more people will have access to COVID-19 vaccination because of the delivery of the additional vaccines. Atwine explains that since March, Uganda has received 5,690,363 doses of various vaccines including AstraZeneca, Moderna, Sinovac, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. Of these doses, 2.2 million have been administered, whereby 1.7 million people have got their first jab, while nearly 600,000 have gotten 2 doses. Since people get only one shot for Johnson & Johnson vaccine, Atwine is optimistic that it will attract a high turn-up across the country. She adds that the ministry is set to open vaccination sites at places that attract large gatherings, such as religious centers and markets. Atwine says the government released shillings 120 billion to buy vaccines. Shillings 55.8 billion was released to buy 9 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. The doses are being procured through the African Vaccine Acquisition Trust AVAT. AVAT was launched last November by the African Union with support from Africa CDC and Afrexim Bank, among others, to ensure widespread access to COVID-19 vaccines across the continent. Kudakwashe Matereke, the Regional Chief Operating Officer of Afrexim Bank Eastern Africa Branch, say that Uganda has made an order through AVAT for 9 million doses, 196,800 of which have been delivered. AVAT signed an agreement to purchase 4 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to be delivered by next year. In Africa Today Sports, Uganda Cranes outwitted Rwanda Amavubi Stars 1-0 during a Group E match on the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier played at the Stade de Kigali in Nyamirambo on Thursday evening. Now, Israel-based striker Aziz Fahad Bayo netted the all-important goal on the match. Take a look at the story.
Israel-based striker Aziz Fahad Bayo was well positioned to score in the 41st minute of Bobos Byaruhanga's initial shot that had been blocked following a curling free kick delivered from the left flank by Isaac Muleme. Early in the opening half, Muleme saved a goal-bound effort from Amavubi Stars. Muleme later limped out and his place was taken by Vipers Abdulaziz Kayondo, while Bobos Byaruhanga was rested for Julius Poloto in the double change. Later on, goal hero Bayo limped out for Crowell Rothomio. Stephen Mukwala made way for Martin Kiza, while Yunus Sentamo replaced Moses Waiso. Uganda Cranes maintained the shape to defend their first half goal and earn maximum points, their first victory of the campaign. Uganda Cranes saw 3 auctions with captain Khalid Aucho, defender Timothy Dennis Awanyo and second half substitute Cromwell Rothomio all shown yellow cards. Uganda hosts Rwanda on Sunday at the St. Mary's Stadium, Kitende.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Before we end the bulletin, let's have a recap of our top stories. Education Ministry says 59% of teachers have been vaccinated. New opposition pressure group names Besigye chairman, Lukwago deputy. A new PM promises to fulfill his new role with honor and dignity. And in our sports today, Uganda Cranes edge Rwanda in Kigali. Thank you so much for being a loyal audience. For more we started from, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.